Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Peter Barber. I'm primarily a professional opera singer, music producer, and a bass vocalist. Today we are returning to Dimash after a pretty long hiatus away from him. And much to my surprise, I have not made a video for his performance of Sinful Passion. So that's what we're going to be doing today, guys. Please do like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Add a comment for the algorithm. Could be as simple as "Hi Peter" or "Dimash rules" or "I love Sinful Passion." Does not matter. All good for the algorithm. And a message I've been highlighting lately is that my goal for this channel is to bring more value and enjoyment and appreciation to your listening experience. I want you guys to be able to appreciate and understand these amazing artists on a deeper level so that you can take these understandings and this new knowledge and apply it to your future listenings, thus bringing more just added value to your whole musical experience. That is my goal. That's what I'm doing these videos for. If I am bringing value to your experience, please do consider joining my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. It is the best possible way to support me as a creator and performer and artist. Link is in the description below. This is a reaction and analysis video, so you will be seeing my first time take on this. But I will be pausing a lot to comment, especially on the vocal analysis, because that is where my expertise lies. And Dimash does so many incredible things vocally. Both his switching between genres, his switching between different kinds of technique, from opera to jazz to whatever. His vocal range is crazy. My personal favorite thing about his voice is his insanely high head voice falsetto that he does. He becomes like a sopranist, essentially. Absolutely amazing. Always blows my mind watching him sing. And he's such a committed artist. I'm amazed it's been so long since I've made a video for him, but here we are, back with more Dimash. Guys, I really hope you enjoy, and I hope you learn something new. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what Dimash does with this song. So this is often where Dimash starts these pieces. For background instrumentation, all we have is piano with no strict tempo. Really, it's very freeform, but just some light piano. And then Dimash comes in with this vocal style that it's very breathy. It's very intimate. He's intentionally not putting any kind of power behind it. It's very low in his range. And what this does is it presents a contrast both as far as range goes. So he starts off low in his voice. We can assume later there'll be some kind of climax much higher in his voice. And in terms of intensity, right now it's breathy, it's low vocal fold closure. Later, when he gets up into his high belt range or operatic technique, he gets very high vocal fold closure. The sound becomes efficient and powerful. So we have a lot of ways to grow during this performance if Dimash starts out where he is now, which is a very soft, intimate, kind of in-your-ear singing. Let's just get a few pitches here so we know where we're kind of at as a starting point. So A minor for the key here. So that's, when we're getting down to A2 for Dimash's, he's more of a, as far as I can tell, like a natural high baritone, natural low tenor. And then of course he does this crazy singing in like a high soprano range. Again, I think it's the most incredible part about his voice. But you can tell we're getting down to this A2 here. And it's in his voice, that's already very near the bottom of his natural chest range, so that the sound gets especially breathy down there. And this is what happens naturally to most singers. Unless they're compressing the sound, if they just kind of go down naturally, it gets much more breathy as you descend in pitch. So we get this very breathy sound on that low A, because you can tell that's really where his chest range, his natural chest range, without forcing anything, is starting to run out. No, it's like almost entirely air on that A2.
О, если б знала ты, что мне нужна, только ты одна.
So keeping it very breathy, keeping it very intimate. There's a lovely moment of just a little bit of nice, natural spinning vibrato I just wanted to highlight. And I also wanted to flag, he starts this second motif, this second phrase with like a pretty significant vocal fry entry.
О, если
Like like a stylistic choice, but just like very significant vocal fry as far as like a scooping into that pitch.
О, если б знала ты.
He lets that nice vibrato come in just for a second.
О, если б знала ты, что мне нужна,
There too.
только ты одна.
Back to that A2.
Линии долгие лилии. Были ночи без сна.
Okay, so we can tell that now in retrospect we can tell that first low A he sang, he intentionally made it more breathy. So clearly he still has a bit of resonance there. It is still getting towards the bottom of his chest range. I don't know what the bottom of his chest range is. I think I've heard him sing down to maybe F sharp, do, maybe F sometimes. I know he has sung down to C2 before, but it was a vocal fry. So I think we're still getting, relatively close to the end of his chest range, but clearly he just demonstrated there that low A, he has more power than he first showcased.
Были ночи без сна.
Nah. See, that still sounds relatively easy for his voice there. Same pitch. Another thing is now we can tell it's ever so slight, but he is already putting a little bit more power and efficiency behind the sound. This second verse, I'll call it, is a more efficient, more powerful sound than the first. It's still soft, intimate singing, especially for Dimash's standards, but there is more power behind it than we first heard him sing. And allowing a little bit more of that vibrato to come in.
Были ночи без сна. Но в стуже сердце озарило, как весна. Только ты одна.
Then again, he opts right at the end of this phrase for that super breathy approach. He like almost comes completely off the voice down to that low A. But again, now we know, purely an artistic choice. He has more resonance down there if he chooses.
Только ты одна.
Where have I heard this chord progression? I swear there's another song that has this chord progression, and I can't place it, but I really, really love it. It's a beautiful chord progression. Ever so slightly getting a little higher in his range here, nowhere even close to the middle or even the top, really, but a little bit higher in this kind of bridge-like section, different chord progression from the first two verses, and still totally maintaining this breathy kind of intimate singing. I won't go back to the start here. Yeah, so there you put a little more effort into that low A there, but still keeping everything very breathy. There we go. Okay, yeah, there's some nice power on the low A there. So now we're getting, he's getting more into this kind of like operatic style singing that he does. This is one unique characteristic about him. I've talked a fair amount about his classical technique. In my opinion, has the best operatic technique I've heard from anyone that's not an opera singer that does it like full time. It really is. It's often very well breast supported. It often has the right amount of pharyngeal space. It often has good resonance. Now it's microphoned here, so you can't tell true power or true volume, but it's a for the most part a very healthy, very solid approach to the operatic style of singing, which is amazing because most people have to train so many years on just that technique to get proficient at it, and Dimash is able to do that while also becoming proficient in a number of other vocal techniques. So it's a huge point of admiration from my end, because I know how hard it is to build an operatic voice, and he's done that and so much more. So let's just take a peek here at this this new section. So even top to bottom, more vocal fold closure, less vocal fold closure. Like on the higher notes, it's obviously a more powerful, efficient sound. And then when he drops down to that lower part, he allows a little bit more relaxation into the voice. He's not trying to power those lower notes just yet. Again, this is all building towards the climax of this piece. As far as I can predict it's going to happen. And he's a showman and he's a great performer, so he knows how to milk every bit out of this performance and slowly build it up so that he's not giving away anything too soon. And he builds the audience and the listener straight towards the climax to make it as exciting as possible. That's what constitutes a great performance, and he does that. He's done that with every performance I've seen of his. So there he's clearly got more power there than he was showing off in the beginning of the song. I still think his bottom E is probably around an F, maybe an E. Hard to say, but he has a solid low A there. And maintains a nice healthy vibrato as well. That's another way you tell that someone's not quite at the bottom of their range, if they can maintain a nice healthy non-forced vibrato. Still just piano. Still piano. Now that's the very start of his head voice, of his falsetto. Around this E4, so E above middle C. Obviously he can sing that high and much higher in pure chest voice, but now he's opting for a much lighter approach to the sound, keeping it breathy, keeping it intimate, keeping us kind of like leaned in, like what's he about to do next? He's keeping us on the edge of our seats here. Triangle. So a G there, above middle C, G below high C. Also, what do we have, a cello? Is there a cello situation? We got the triangle, hell yeah. I think that is a cello. Some kind of low string instrument. Singing style the same. So he's singing the same pitches up to the high A. Same pitches as he sang right before this in that much lighter mechanism of the head voice falsetto. Now he's singing it and he's remaining in his pure chest voice. Like I said a minute ago, he can sing that high in chest if he so chooses, and just a few moments later, here he's choosing to do so. Once again, it's adding to the power, it's adding to the intensity, and it is building towards whatever climax we're headed towards. Very nice, consistent vibrato there. Opts for more of a belt. than a maintenance of the kind of bel canto singing in opera, where you'd want consistent vibrato throughout the whole passage. He opts for more of a straight tone belt there, which that kind of singing you hear like musical theater belting, any kind of pop belting. Often a technique will be used where you'll hit the note in straight tone and then let it spin. That's a technique I've certainly heard him use before. It's a very exciting technique to use if you can control it properly, which he can. Just opts for that straight tone on that high A, which is getting high in chest voice. For any voice type, getting up to a high A, an A4, below tenor high C, that is getting up there in chest range. Point blank, period. I like that phrase because it's like right as he is, it almost sounded like he was about to run out of breath and then he gained a little bit more power. Now that might seem counterintuitive because intuition would probably tell you that a more powerful sound requires more air, but it's actually the opposite, because a more powerful sound means you have better vocal fold closure, which means that less air is actually coming through the vocal fold, so you can actually sustain a more powerful sound for longer if done efficiently. So that's what we get there, is he's almost out of breath, but he's able to put a little bit more power into the sound because he has efficient use of his air. A little riff. Something like that. I always flag riffs because I love riffs. That's it. Oh, that was cool. So he kind of attacks it a little strongly and then pulls off the voice right afterwards, like a sforzando kind of thing. Again, that takes a lot of control. So up to a high B, and this is in that his head voice place. But the thing about Dimash's voice, and is what makes his high note so amazing, is that his high head voice when he's singing like up in soprano range might actually be more powerful than his high chest range, where he's like belting loudly, singing in that more like tenor operatic sound, which is amazing. And it's because it's obviously he's naturally gifted and obviously he's well trained in that part of his range. So here, as far as I can tell, that's in his more head voicey, falsetto-y place of sound, but it maintains the kind of connection to the core that he used just before, or that he has used before in his chest voice at that range. That's chest. That's for chest. So yes, that motif previously was certainly in his head voice, and this one is now in his chest voice. So he maintains chest, puts the vibrato in, so that's that kind of more classical style singing, and then he actually belts without any vibrato. He straight tone belts up to that high B just a moment later, still in pure chest voice, but with a different kind of technique. Notice the difference here. Here's one. More operatic. More pop musical theater. Okay, maintain the operatic sound now throughout his range. It sounds like страсти, right? Keeping the kind of more pharyngeal space, opting for a slightly darker sound. That's how you get the scuro sound and the chiaro scuro of an opera singer's tone, where you want chiaro, you want the brightness that comes from mostly vocal fold efficiency and not blocking your sound with your tongue. The chiaro, that's the very bright part of the sound, and then the scuro, which is you get from the lowered pharynx, and then ideally you have both, where it's a bright sound, but it's also a dark sound. We'll see how that was just handled by the microphone.
Идем сгорать в костре грешной страсти.
Out of nowhere, dude. See, that to me is amazing. Like, that to me is the most amazing part of his voice. So F5. Up to A5, just below soprano high C, and maintaining just very consistent vibrato. It sounds so easy and under control for him. Really, this is where I think his voice truly shines. Up to a soprano high C there. Loses a bit of control, didn't totally maintain that consistency he had and comfort he had in the whole phrase leading up to it, but like that can just happen during live performance. Like, he's a very consistent singer. It's not possible to be perfect all the time. So he just lost just a tiny bit of control on that high C, but still maintained vibrato. Still, the note was still very clearly produced. Just if you compare the kind of relative smooth and ease he had the whole phrase leading up. And I know like soprano high C for him still isn't, the top of his range. So that I know that is not an uncomfortable thing for him to see. This is just like, part of what it means to be a live performer. It's not going to be perfect all the time. Here, just a tiny variation, a tiny like wavering in this like very consistent vibrato shape he had before that. We go to a C sharp. Yeah, to a C sharp, a C sharp 6 above soprano high C is our new top. That's just absurd. Absurd. So up to an E, sorry, I was playing all those keys an octave lower. Up to an E6, E above soprano high C. I can't remember the highest I've ever heard him go. I think has he gone up into the 7th octave? I think he does. I think he has whistle register. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've listened to him. Anyway, up to E above soprano high C, which is super, super high. And still maintains the vibrato up that high, which is wild. Because most people, if they can reach that frequency of sound, it's just like a screech, basically. Not Dimash. Maintains control all the way up there. Awesome. That is a technique I haven't heard him use before. Very cool. A technique, a style found more, I believe, in like the Middle East and certain Asian countries adopting this kind of vocal technique. Style technique. I actually don't know what it's called. and the kind of mode, the musical mode you would hear. Is it? I just rewatched the movie Troy, and there's a lot of that kind of harmonic structure going on in Troy. I'm not sure which mode it is. I would think Phrygian off the top of my head, but I'm not sure that's right. And he's incorporating that soundscape, but still maintaining a bit of that classical technique as well with the vibrato and the pharyngeal space. So it presents a cool combination here of styles, of genres, of cultures even. God, dude. Whoa. Okay. That was insane. A. B, like I said earlier, if you have a powerful, efficient use of the air, you can sustain a phrase for a long time. And I'm pretty sure he just had like a 20 plus second phrase, starting with, he started more in an operatic chest voice and then switched into that mixed voice or like powerful head voice falsetto for him. And then that's what allows that transition up into those much higher notes to happen much, much easier without a switch in registers. He switches early so that it can carry up smoothly. Right there, so that immediately goes into more of like a mixed sound. Yeah, and then from there, he can slide easily up into that crazy high shit that he does. All the way up to a B flat 5. Another crazy riff. I can't remember all the notes he puts in there. That's a very technical riff there. And you can tell he's running out of breath right at the very end. I just want to flag and see how long this is. So he made it to 5:07. So from 4:45 to 5:07, so 22 seconds. I feel the air running out. So that was the obvious major climax that he was building towards earlier. It came out more abruptly than I expected. For the first like 3 or 4 minutes, he was really steadily progressing along that journey towards the climax. But then all of a sudden he was like, nope, let's just do it. And then just blasts away in Dimash fashion. But yeah, obviously a climax of the song. Give this man the flowers he deserves. Okay, so that must be the end, so I will not comment on the aftermath of that. Man, again, just like I said, there are so many amazing things about Dimash's voice. My personal favorite things that I think are most impressive are his ability to switch between radically different genres, radically different vocal techniques, and to sound really solid on all of them. That's one of his biggest strengths. Strength number 2 is vocal range, like overall, / his freakish high notes. Absolutely freakish high notes. And this climax of this song where he goes chest belt, more operatic, into a really powerful mixed voice, more like a musical theater belt. And then I think he does the third one where he slides from there up into this really powerful head voice up to the B flat 5 and riffs his way all the way back down into chest voice, way lower on the scale. Like, that's just a beautiful demonstration of what I think is so impressive about his voice, specifically. But overall, he's also a great performer. He draws you in with that really soft, intimate singing. He gives his songs and performances a place to go. He makes you wait for it. He makes us want the high notes instead of he just comes out and gives them to us. He knows how to bring a crowd in. He knows how to deliver text well. He knows how to use all sorts of different vocal colors to convey emotion. Truly a wonderful artist and a world-class, freakish, talented singer. This was really fun diving back into him. It had been a long time, and I'm surprised I had never seen this piece by him or this performance. So this is a fun first-time listen for me. Again, my goal to add value, to enhance your listening experience. I really hope I was able to do that. If you do feel like you have a further appreciation for Dimash or further appreciation for this piece, if you really feel like you've learned things you can apply elsewhere, please do consider joining my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. It is by far, no question, the best possible way to support me as an artist. So I'd really appreciate you guys at least checking out the page. It's in the description below. Otherwise, do please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, please comment for the algorithm, hit the bell for notifications. And if you have any other requests for Dimash that I have not covered yet, please do leave that in the comments below. And yeah, all right, signing off. This is a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.